So our next presentation is going to be our very good friend Jason Farrow from MV Productions in London. Hello.
Hello, Stuart.
It's that time of year ago. We did exactly the same thing last
a
year ago.
Deja vu.
Different stuff though this year. So Jason has, this has all been last minute, so a massive thank you to you for, because you were working like 18 hours ago or something crazy.
Yeah, I was working on the closing film for the Paralympics, so that was the time that I was supposed to be spending.
That had to go out, really, didn't it?
I had to do that, which is very good, and it's a shame I can't show that because that's fantastic, but I'm not allowed to talk about it. But it's on tomorrow night,
you've heard.
So it's very good.
But the stuff you have brought with us, which you can show us, is
I'm going to eventually show you a spot that I did for ITV to promote Andrew Lloyd Webber's Superstar vehicle. But what I'd like to do, I'm going to say a little bit about myself.
Yeah,
basically,
because you've done a lot, and Envy's done a lot. And
I've done a lot, and you saying I'm old, basically?
No, not at all. I'm knocking on.
I do. I do remember when Flame came out 20 years ago, but I'm that old. Anyway, what I'm going to do first of all is I'm basically, well, you've said my name anyway. I work for MV Post Production in London, where I'm a visual effects artist and VFX supervisor, and my presentation isn't as slick as yours, Stuart.
And MV's big now, isn't it?
MV's very big. Yeah,
we
are very big. I'm going to give you a little bit of marketing spiel. In fact, what I'm going to do, I've got a little slideshow to show here, just as some pictures as I talk about MV, because MV was founded February 2006 and has become one of the leading post houses in the UK, and I'm actually one of the founding members, and I actually put my money in the company. And we bought this kit, which has worked for us very well. And we have quite a few of my colleagues. There's quite a large number of us who own a share of the business, and we are the majority when we're all added together. So we're quite unique like that, and we like that. And we're based in NoHo, a stone's throw from the traditional sort of post-production heart of Soho. As Stuart says, we're big. We've got 5 buildings, and we have 141 suites from offline through to VFX. We've got Dolby licensed audio studios. We've got bass lights, grading, and the most important thing actually is we got 2 bars, and they're licensed.
And you got a roof terrace as well.
We have a roof terrace. In fact, we have a roof terrace, which I think, if we'd have timed this well, we're going to come to that roof terrace in a minute on the end of these pictures. And I've got to say this: we were voted #1 in Televisual's producers poll last year, and we won Best Post-Production House for 3 consecutive years at the Broadcast Awards. Anyway, that's enough of keeping the marketing people happy, because I said that I'd do that. So.
But the whole point about this is that, like you said, you've invested your own money on this, and it's okay using kit that somebody else has bought for you as like a jobbing operator, but to have basically, this is my money, this is my livelihood, and not only yours, but other people in the company.
Well, we knew that with you guys along as partners, we could, we were with Autodesk from day one. That was part of the plan. Always, we opened with 3 Smoke Advanced as they were then, and we've now got 5 Flame Premiums, which is good, and as probably more.
Constantly busy.
Anyway, I'm gonna move on, and I'm gonna show a little cheeky show reel of mine. This is some of my work. It's a little bit tongue in cheek, but I thought, see what you think. Oh, I need to make that big, don't I? So you see, you can tell that I don't do this for a living.
Just imagine I'm on one of those. One of those very fussy.
I'm used to having another little monitor beside me.
This message is coming to you from your future. I will hide the information you need in your television broadcasts. This is the technology you need to develop in order to survive. They are already living amongst you.
It's kind of a little tour de force of everything that you can do in posting.
Well, that's what we do, really. I mean, I should say the work that I do is mainly broadcast on air and commercial, and when you're doing broadcast on air work, the budgets are smaller than they are for commercial, but they want more, basically. So like that's why the job that I'm going to actually do a little breakdown on is relevance. Get this up.
So once again, I know this is like a bit of a ham-fisted marketing thing squeezed in, but seriously, there's stuff you really like about smoke and organisational and dealing with media, because once again, the media that you have to deal with these days, it just gets crazy with all the electronic camera capture formats. You just get.
Well, the good thing for me is, I mean, I'm old school. I work with pictures, basically. So that's actual how it comes, for me, the kit manages everything for me, and I just work with the pictures, and
that's the main thing.
Anyway, so I'm going to play this little spot, and then I'm actually going to do something apart from playing little clips.
No, that's good.
It's
you're fine. You've got loads. So this is actually the bit that we're going to deconstruct, yeah?
Are you all looking at?
Hello, Mr. Webber. We've got a very busy day.
Okay, everyone, sound check over. Let's go on with the show. Nice.
Okay, well, it's all very tongue-in-cheek, and that's why we like that, because that was a good thing. So to go a little bit cheesy, we all know Close Encounters. So,
but it looks nice. It looks really nice. So
anyway,
so what was it originally shot on? This one.
Shot on the Alexa.
Nice camera.
Very nice camera, and we did all the posts on this. Basically, we did the edit, we did the grading, we did the sound, and we did the VFX work and the CG work as well. So let me go to here's where my organisational skills.
So what Jason's kind of showing. So we've got, as you see from some of the tabs that we're going through, some of the thumbnails, it's just basic representations of the clips kind of collapsed.
Yeah. So, well, I've actually got I've got a nice sort of breakdown thing to play, actually, which I started making this not for this event, but this was to show our producers what we do, because they're not technical, but this is a little breakdown on one of the shots, basically. So there's the shot, there's the backplates, there's the build-up. This is the sort of stuff we do every day, just replicate, set extension, adding CG elements in, and then you get the final shot. And we add the lens flares.
Never go wrong with the lens flare.
I'm a bit known for adding lens flares, but
it's what the industry was built on.
They worked, they worked nice for this job. So anyway,
and once again, so this is basically like a vertical stack representation. So there's lots of different color coding that's kind of going on here. But I suppose once again, with the smoke interface, with the Flame Premium, it's really the integration between having a timeline and also flow graph at the same time.
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, having I come from an I'm a sort of compositor, but I come from an editing background. So I've grown up using. I used to work with reel-based systems, and then and clip-based systems, and then I moved into having a timeline. And I don't want to look back. So the way that the software is going now is fantastic. So
good.
I have the Flame toolset along a timeline, which is for me is incredible, because I with the sort of work I do, the clients ask for something, and I might need to do a 3D track or something there and then, and get things to work. And
also in the context of the actual edit as well.
And also editing. I mean, yesterday I finished the Paralympic job, and then I got asked to recut something, and I was actually using the smoke as an offline. Because you can.
It won't take offence.
It's such a powerful tool.
So you can talk us through, what you got here.
I will. Let's just. Let's split the screen up. There we go. Okay, so we got the build, and basically, I mean, the thing I should say about this job is that we worked to a very, very tight time schedule on this. So we had to have two flames going to get this done in the time, and we had CG artists creating all these little extra elements. But, and I'll move on to this in the next clip that I go to. We were able to speed the process up because we were getting the guys in CG to do what they could do quickly, and then we could take bits away from them. So
getting to do really sort of like the bare minimum that you can, because obviously CG can get very time consuming.
Yeah.
So basically putting the bare bones together for something in CG, and then you doing the sweetening inside of the system to make it look.
I'll move on to that bit in a minute. I'm just coming out of that one for some reason. I'll go back into it. I just want to show here that this is the lens flare one.
It's okay. You're amongst friends.
I know. We like this. Is, I think, action. Well, you can probably tell me when the whole lens flare when.
Well, we put that in the 2010 release because we had that whole change of the architecture with the pixel rendering. So that all came in as part of the relighting. So once again, we're constantly moving the software forward. As you can see with the latest edition, we've done a lot of work with the interface and workflow, but we actually changed the entire way a couple of years ago, the way system actually processes and renders internally, and the way we had to move to that pixel-based rendering because the actual support that we were doing for CG passes, actually FBX stuff coming in. So there's a massive change at that point. That's when all the relighting
stuff came in. That's exactly how I would have put it as well.
I was reading that off of your sheet. Honest, Gov.
So I mean, the thing you see, we got the lens flare being put in the scene, but it's interactive within the scene. Because I've done the build within the scene, so I've built up all the layers here, and I've stuck this lens flare in, and it's actually working within the scene. And it's just little simple touches like that I love about this system. It's really good, especially when
that's probably, I mean, because once again you can use a lens flare filter, but I suppose the whole point about this, and the reason that we put the relighting tools in, was that it's very rare now that you work in a flat 2D world anymore, is it? You use the space within the comp.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to have elements that will respect other elements in that 3D space. Otherwise, you're just kind of doing a 3D comp, flattening it, putting a filter on, and then you've got no interaction with the elements that you've built.
Yeah. So that's where we're adding some value, which we like doing to these clips. I'm going to move on to this other clip because you reminded me about how the timeline is really useful for speeding things up. And again, because we were working to this tight time scale.
So what was the actual deadline for this for turning around
before the show went out, like 2 weeks, and it was all very last minute. And the director had just gone to work for ITV Creative, and it was his first gig there, so it had to be good.
Oh, it's one of those ones. If this goes wrong, I won't be working here.
And he was a hands-on director that we had. Everything was working concurrently, so we had grading going on while we were starting to build things, and while CG was going on, and he was moving between the two. But he was very interactive and he loved it because he was able to change things, which, from a director's point of view, is fantastic. We help them, we like to be able to facilitate them being able to do that. So
help to continue the creative flow moving forward.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Right, I'm just going to quickly do it. Get that set.
And once again, I mean, these are quite complex batch setups. And the other thing you've got to sort of realise about this is that this is all kind of processing on the fly live with the full resolution media. So I mean, as much as we like to have real time all the time, every time, the size of these setups, the amount of data that you're dealing with, it's quite big. It is quite amazing.
And I think with the development of the software, as the software gets better and you can do more things, we do more things.
Yep.
And it gets quicker, but speed isn't. Speed is very quick for rendering, and we have a burn licenses, so we can shut things off to be rendered in the background.
New version, they've put GPU processing in batch.
Very good.
Check that out. Anyway.
I want to just say what we've done on this shot, because obviously this shot here, I'm just going to play the music again. Obviously we've got to time that to hit the music, that music track. Problem we had was the sound designer was still working on this and we hadn't got it finalised exactly. I mean, it was roughly going to,
Okay. You had a rough idea of what's going to go on.
Because the correct way to do it probably would be to animate it in Maya and to work to the to the actual soundtrack. But we decided that we couldn't work to that time with that for our timescale. So what we did was we got our little Maya guy to come out, our CG guy, to render lots of little passes of all the different lights, basically. And these are just still frames, so they're very quick. They're very quick. And then what we thought, well, we will animate in smoke on the smoke timeline, or Flame Premium. I'm not used to this name.
Doesn't matter. Like I said, we know what you're talking about. It's fine.
So I'm just gonna.
So basically have the elements, the statics ready, and then when you got the final sand design through, then you're able to sort of kind of time those out.
Sort of play. This has got like the rough original sound on it. So you see, we just started animating them, and we were having a little bit of fun doing things. So we were able to very quickly do this editorially along the timeline. So rather than the CG guy rendering it out and then not liking it, we could very quickly change it. And then we added all the sort of glows and light passes to make things look nice and lovely, and our CG guys then produced some little extra elements as well. Like we needed a stage set, which is very weak and knocked back, but this was something that we decided we needed right at the end. Another important thing we should say: when they came to us, they were going to shoot this on green screen. So they wanted to shoot that on green with the lights, and we said, no, please don't do that.
Gonna be good.
Shoot on the black screen. Yeah, they're actually, they had these hero lights. We said, make those part of the actual scene, and then we can do a very nice comp with those, as long as it's black behind.
So you had some practical lights in there, and you also, do you put any more extra lights?
We put in our own little Vari lights, and we enjoyed this bit actually. It was good. I mean, it was one of the team was doing this, and the other was doing the comping. In fact, there's a little layer missing there on his head, but never mind.
And of course, all standard things. You've got your green screen replacements on the monitors and.
Green screen replacement on the monitors, and probably not in this shot because it wasn't moving. We did do some 3D tracking, and we had lots of tracking points and stuff. But that's in another shot. Obviously, that's all part. With the clean-up side of it, we tend to dismiss that but it's very, what you can do on here very quickly is, is important.
Yeah, once again, sometimes you get things you actually have to clean up in the context of what you're working on straight away. Maybe like you're saying, if you've got tracking marks that you think are going to be used, they're not going to be used, or they just haven't had time to touch up from somewhere else, and it's just keeping it. So it's kind of keeping it in context of what you're working with.
Tracking marks. I didn't want to do that. Forgotten my shortcuts. So I'll show you.
And there was an element of, so the final look on about all this, were you doing any kind of look development inside of here, or do you pass it off to the grading at the end of the day?
It was grading, and then it was graded separately. So in fact, you can see we actually have. I think I've got the ungraded passes in here actually. I have for the shot that I was showing just now. Let's just go there. Superstar breakdown. Oh, that's not there. It's that one.
Okay.
There's the ungraded, because we obviously use the ungraded, but they're tech passes really, and then we've got the graded pass there. So
got the isolation going through.
But we quite often we do grade using the smoke.
Well, once again, if you can do it in the context of your sort of like comp, because once again you've got to blend a lot of things into different color plates and things like that. So yeah, I mean, we've got a couple of new. How much have you seen in the new version? Have you seen it? I mean, you haven't had time, have you?
I haven't had time, no, because I've been making sure that this all works.
We've got some nice stuff going on the colour side now. We've got this ACES transformation thing going in. So basically, a generic colour space. That's probably going to be useful for the 3D stuff and the CG. It's going to be pretty good.
Forgotten what I was going to show. So more breakdowns, more. Shot play, obviously nice defocus on the green screen, love that, but Smoke able to handle that quite well. So and building out extra, it's a great tool. I mean,
once again, it looks. I mean, what's nice about this, as it should do. I mean, the clue to a nice, really good comp is that you don't see the comp.
Yeah, I mean these are quite cheesy. They're not
no, but the whole
ones.
point is that it looks like. I mean, even things like that you just expect to be shot as a practical live action. Yeah. You wouldn't expect just like a headshot to be green screen. But the fact that you can kind of take maybe not the best quality backplates or green screens, actually sort of get a really good result through. It's It's great stuff. I mean, it's lovely to see work like this. Are you doing a bit of shading as well?
Yeah, there's a bit of grading. I mean, there's with shading his face and he's relighting and making him look brighter and everything. Last minute changes that the director wanted, and I think and a little track going on there. I can't remember who did the track, whether it was done by me or it was done in CG. We'll find out. There we are. It's done in CG. So quite often use a tracking in here or CG. This was a real.
And of course the CG guys as well, they can kind of pass off, I mean it's not just render material they can pass off to you, they can pass off things like motion parts and depth parts.
Well, FBXs are my favourite thing.
Are they your new flavour of the month?
We use, I mean I've been using them for a couple of years now really, and there's, let's just come out of this and I'll show you a shot where we did actually use an FBX, and that's on the final shot, the logo reveal.
So kind of everybody familiar with FBX? So instead of actually having a flat and rendered model out of CG, it's actually it's actually a model, isn't it? It's a three-dimensional geometry.
It's a three-dimensional. I mean, for this one, we wanted the camera, but basically we wanted the camera, and we then had some geometry that was created in Maya, and then we were able to just take the geometry without the move on it, and just add. Because our original idea was to add some of these lights are just added to points along that within that geometry,
right.
just so we were going to do it all like that, but we decided that it was better to do a mix of stuff that was rendered past. So you saw that we were just rendering single frames out and animating those. They were on lock plates. I think we only had a couple of moving ones.
Hello,
so
Mr. Webber, we've got a very busy
and this was the one where we did use an FBX model. But you can't. It's very, very small and very subtle behind there. But then that's ideal because it doesn't have to be a super photoreal render, but so we can incorporate it quickly. And that's the speed is the
And once again, I mean, if
it's
actually a bigger model, because you can actually retexture, relights, you can bring materials in for these FBXs as well. In fact. We also offer quite a lot of degree of animation. There's quite a bit of the animation that can actually come across with the FBX camera as well, and the FBX actual model.
It's a very, very powerful, and I use it. Using it more and more all the time. And 3D tracking is a godsend. In fact, a last little thing I'll show you. I've just remembered actually. So I'm planning on the fly here. I did a job where we had an ad for a bank, and they had Formula 1 cars in.
Okay.
Which is great. They had shots of Formula 1 cars going around a track, but without an audience because Bernie Eccleston charges too much money for that stuff. So we had to, this shot here,
right.
We had to, just mark this, we had to put some crowd in, and this was really like a very last minute thing where it's the end of the day and the client has said, we can't have an empty stadium. That's not, that's not, not what we're trying to show here. So these people, you probably see it now, they're actually just 2D plates, and we just did a 3D track using the flame tracker, and this would have been a perfect demo for you because it worked first time. I've just got these very, very crude plates that I tracked. They're just moving moving locked off plates that I've put in perspective,
and just tracked in.
It just works so well.
But the thing is, once again, it's just a visual perception. If it blends into the eye, you don't notice it. It's only when it doesn't. That's when you notice bad things. Is when it sticks out. So I mean, stuff like this.
With that, the Formula 1 guys questioned that.
Really?
They said, "Well, yeah, where did you get that from? What Grand Prix? Because No,
they weren't there. Honestly,
so
they're all fake.
That's good. So
that was really good.
Really,
so I think can we play your? Play the MV reel again. Is that okay with you?
It's actually my reel. I was going to bring both. I thought it would become a bit of a show reel fest actually if I just played the whole
have
thing.
Another one.
So anyway,
first off, a big thank you once again for coming across. I know it's a last minute thing. Your work always is lovely, and it's nice to see you over here.
Thanks for being given the opportunity by Autodesk.
A bit of appreciation for Mr. Farrow coming across from London from MV, and a big thanks to MV as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Here you go.
This message is coming to you from your future. I will hide the information you need in your television broadcasts. technology you need to develop in order to survive. They are already living amongst you.